Good morning, YouTube. Guess I was just getting up, just getting ready to get out into the world. Normally, I would just um, suck it up and hope that we can get ready for new ideas for the week. Hold on 1 second. But I just wanted to get up and talk for a minute uh, about an idea that I got from. Um, just going to use a conversation that Miss T with the T had about. Hold on, everybody was flipping out about sugar in the. Hey, Mike. Everybody was flipping about sugar in the grits, and I'll be honest with you. Um, I was the same way. It's like, what? Oh my God! How could you do it? How could you put sugar in the grits? Well, it's kind of sort of um, it's kind of sort of how you was brought up. It's kind of sort of how how it was in your household. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just waking up. It's just the opposite there, bro. Uh, it's kind of sort of it's kind of sort of how your household situation. A lot of people were brought up not having a lot of money. My parents were they were phony. You know what I'm saying? They were struggling. Yeah, exactly. Uh, we didn't have we. My father had bad back teeth. And that's what they say for all these years. That was their excuse. That was, but they. The thing is, they didn't have money. It's like with this thing with Kellogg that they everybody the CEOs making all this money, and well, all the thing that was in our house was cornflakes and we had for dinner was a pot of rice and lima beans. And people be exaggerating when they say stuff, but bro, I'm not freaking lying, man. It was all. That's all we had. That's all we. So what I'm saying is, when when you're talking about something that someone eats and they think is delicious, 9 times out of 10, that's how they were brought up. 9 times out of 10, that's how they know how to eat. Because this ain't got money to pay. This ain't got. They don't know what's supposed to be right or wrong. It's our job as parents to say that. But see, here's my take on sugar and grit. And I might hurt a few kids. I might hurt a few people's feelings. See, but if you really look at it, And I'm just saying, as an African American, and you don't see that all of that sugar is killing us. Uh-oh, I'm muffled. I think I walked away from the phone. Let's see. Let me know. I'm gonna keep on talking. See if. Oh, okay. It might have been because I walked up to the garbage. But the percentage uh, of diabetes that's in our culture, the percentage of high cholesterol that is in our culture, the percentage of high blood pressure that is in our culture, a lot of that comes from the food we eat. Even though we were brought up with it, even though, it's like right now, I should be doing low carbs, but I got the taste for these peanut butter stuffed pretzels. I don't like go out and get what do you call that, you know Reese's peanut butter cups and all this, because no, I just have a specific uh thing that I urge and want to eat, and yeah, that's what it was, that the urge that I want to eat, and I wish I'm still working on that. We'll say it like that. I'm still working on that. But hold on, let me just check one thing. Okay, all right. Now, but back to what I was saying. And even though you were brought up with it, even though it it tastes good to you, you have to look at that aspect of it. You have to look at that understanding of it. You know, yeah, and I'll be trying to tell my wife when she makes the greens, she's got to have this big fat ham on. It's like, baby, what about smoked turkey? Something a little bit. At least I'm trying to. No, it's just not the same taste. Really, I don't taste the difference. I really don't. I really don't. See, but we are so, because of systemic racism, because of slavery, because that's the stuff we would give it. Okay, but I want to show y'all something. Let me show you something. Let's see if I can do it from the phone. Remember, uh, let's start with that one. Okay, and then I'm going to go to that one. Okay, and then let's hide that. Okay. Now, we've had, in other cultures, they have what's called uh, polenta, and it's nothing but a big fancy word for grits. Okay, because grits comes from corn, dried corn. That's all it is, and technically, grits is nothing but a porridge. Grits is nothing but a porridge. Polenta is actually, I think, is a finer uh, uh, grind. It's ground up more finer, but it's nothing but grits. And I think it's made with instead of water, it's made with milk. You see what I'm saying? And but I'm also reminded of my my brother, my half brother, on his side of the family is from the Caribbean, And I remember he used to make it all the time. Yeah, he used to make it all the time. Cornmeal porridge, and cornmeal is nothing but I think corn is the more coarser grind than cornmeal, but it's still the same thing. It's just different in the how finer it was ground up. And he used to make that for breakfast with nutmeg and cinnamon in it, butter and sugar, and and with the milk, cook it real slow. I could never figure out how I did it, but it's still technically grits. And we look at people, we throw our nose up, and for something that is just the way we were brought up. It's something with that just the way we were conditioned. Because if you look at it, we do this, do one more thing. I gotta do this. I can get out of here. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let's turn the light on. Let's see here. 87, 8. Hold on 1 second. Try to, okay, but back to what I was saying. You know, we be yelling and screaming, "Oh my God, that's so disgusting! That's so nasty!" But certain parts of the country, certain parts of society, certain parts of um, you know our environment. This is what we were that you, me, and I are accustomed to eating. Some people do it, some people don't. I prefer uh, butter, a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm trying to train my wife to cook with less salt because of my blood pressure. I'm trying not train, but convince her to do less, so so I can add to it if I want it. So I can um, uh, slow down the amount of salt in my system. Because if you just think about it this way, you ever you ever have some seasoned food that you put just the right amount of salt in it, and the next day when you have it, it just tastes saltier. It's because that meal is broken down. That meal was condensed down. Some of the liquid is evaporated. It might have been in the cooking or whatever, and now it's salty because you put way too much salt in there in the beginning. See, we were brought up to thinking that everything has to be seasoned with seasoned salt, Lowry seasoned salt, or we everything has to have salt in it. But if you look at this, if you ever take a moment and look at the ingredients in some of these seasonings, this, I'm not talking specific, but just look at your seasoning, the pre-made stuff, not just the garlic powder and the. No, I'm not talking. I'm talking the pre-made stuff, especially like stuff like Slap Your Mama. Look at the stuff. It's got salt in it. It has salt in it. Well, I'm gonna add a little chicken base or beef base. That's okay. If you add chicken base or something, if beef base or something, don't add no salt because those bases have a large amount of salt in it. Certain certain things, the way they're done, smoked meats and smoke, it's got salt in it. And but see, we as African Americans, we think we have to be. It's just like I was telling my wife. She finally said it. She said, the reason I keep on because I think I'll lose my street creds with you. Oh, it's a great. I said, no, honey, you're a great cook. I'm just adding. I'm just asking you to modify. I'm just asking you to, help me out because a lot of times I don't even want to help myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's understandable. And see, and that's the thing. We are so used to this is how I was brought up. This is how I'm used to. I'm not changing for you. I'm not changing for nobody. Uh, and I'm not. I didn't bring this subject up for just to have a negative with a connotation, a negative vibe, or whatever. No, I'm just saying it's just sometimes we don't even realize and know our history to understand this is what whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with it. I'm like, okay, well, if you want to keep adding more sugar, then when the doctor, you see, if you just when we get older, our metabolism slows something ridiculous. So you can't be eating stuff like you want to. And there was a lady on Miss T with the T's, and I was reminded because that happened to me. It was she was talking about how she do her spaghetti. Normally that would have blew my mind, and I'm like, what? But she adds andouille sausage, ground beef, um, homemade meatballs, the little smoked sauce. I mean, everything in the kitchen sink. And I would have been blown away, but I've seen that before. And I seen that from Puerto Rican brother in New York. Because I remember I had fixed his satellite one time, and they offered me a plate. I'm like, no, 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 I'm good, I'm good. And he insisted. And my man had everything but the kitchen sink in it. And I'll make my spaghetti like that every once in a while. And I was just like, wow, it just me, our taste preferences start when we were little kids. This is how I was brought up. This is how uh, I understand. And any other way is stupid. And I'm here to say that no, every other way is not stupid. It's just people's preference. And I'm not, again, I'm not to knock it, but see, I remember there was a TikTok story about mad black woman, and no, these women deserve this one. Okay, and the waiter, if you're a seasoned waiter that knows African American women, should have knew better. Because I started laughing when I seen the picture. First of all, they were so stupid. They paid all this money and the wrong steak came out there. I said that ain't no. It was supposed to be a tomahawk steak, and it was I mean tomahawk's the steak with a big iron bone in it. It was supposed to be a tomahawk steak, and then it was it came out. It came out like I think I'd say medium rare. And first thing came to mind to me was, wait a minute, these black women. I have never, in the 56 years of my life, ran into a black woman of any ethnicity, Afro-Cuban, African American, Afro, any ethnicity that does not want their steak well done. No pink, no blood, no nothing. They do not care. It has to be cooked to the bone. And when you have one of those big behind steaks, I don't know if any of no Ruth Chris or whatever, they have to torture to death to get into that because the meat's so thick. You have to they would have to butterfly the damn thing. No woman, no African American woman is not going to have a steak that way. It does not matter. I could look at you and see if you're African American, you're black, Afro, anything. I got to roast it. And I would say, I would have said to them, man, are you sure you want this? You're not going to be happy. And you're going to come back and yell at me. Because they're not going to be able to get all the red out of the steak. They're just not. Okay. And then I'm gonna bring back the manager and say, look, this gonna mess up my tip, but you're not gonna be happy. You're not going to be happy. Simple as that. And some of these high end restaurants will cook pork and it's got pink in it. See, you can't go to certain countries, like, Japan, the island of Japan. They love to cook with raw eggs. We were brought up, that you'll get salmonella. But these places have raw eggs. And I'm not talking about the half cooked egg. No, a lot of this stuff, they'll put a raw egg right on top of that sucker. Raw egg yolk. Right on top. I watched many a video. I was like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do that. It's just like, it's the same thing. I remember that TV show Andrew Zimmerman, and he used to do bizarre foods. And he would go. I mean, I think he finally got to the age of, look, I'm getting too old for this. I mean, it was just some nasty. My preference is just nasty stuff. Well, I don't think it could be immune to salmonella, but I think the way they treat the animals might be different. I don't know. I just don't know. And the way that stuff is treated, the way that stuff is prepared, um, because trust me, I worked back at the house. I was line cook, and a lot of these restaurants ain't that clean. I'm just being honest. A lot of these places ain't as clean as you think they are. You know what I mean? And it's just being honest. And and that's where I'm trying to keep the conversation is like the bizarre foods. I remember there's this African tribe, they would put a cow down and puncture an artery and empty out the blood and drink the blood of the cow.
You are approaching a way station in 5.0 miles.
Drink his blood like a freaking Dracula. They have, we got a lot of beekeepers in here. They have a certain tribe. I don't know if it's South America or whatever, where they go to these bees that are way up off of the edge of a cliff, and their honey gets you high as a kite. Their honey, you'd be high as a freaking kite. You know, the- it's just our preference. It's crazy. It's a you know and don't get me wrong. And I don't know about you, Mike. I don't know. When I when I watch these food, these food things or these mukbangs, and there's nothing against you people that do the mukbangs, but y'all need to go over and watch where that mess came from. The Asian versions of that, and it's really people eating ungodly amounts of food. They go off, and these are real skinny people, and it's all about the chopping. I can't stand that. I don't want to hear the crunch. I don't want to hear you. I can't stand it. It makes the back of my hair on the back of my neck crawl. I just can't stand it. And y'all think that those people, I'm gonna say it like that, we are a commodity to them. Yeah, I can't stand it. They're chomping oh, oh, you know, you know, I if I come to your channel, if you actually have given me something to come to your channel. There's one, there's one lady. Oh man, Jesus, the nicest. It's like Pippi Longstocking homemaker, and I'm like, she is so freaking polite. It's ridiculous. It's be cracking me up. But I can't help it. But I said, I gotta support this lady. I gotta support this lady. She's so freaking nice. It's just it's unbelievable. And I think that's her niche. She's so freaking polite. It cracks me up. Like, thank you, blood. Thank you, blood. Thank you. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god. I gotta leave a thumbs up. But I don't know. I hope I wasn't mean coming from saying that. I just can't stay on that channel. I just can't. I can't. I have no problem watching food. Uh, food channels or whatever. I love on TikTok watching Keith Lee, but when he chomping on that food, I cringe. I freaking cringe. Yeah, I freaking cringe. But it's like I said, back to I'm trying to stay focused this early Saturday morning. It's back to food preferences. And another thing is, again, with the sugar. Oh, you put sugar in tomato sauce to cut the acidity. And okay, what about when you're making the sauce? Add some red wine. It's got sugar in it. It's going to give you a better. It's going to give you a better flavor. Well, I don't drink liquor. Well, it's going to cook if you cooking if you're cooking it. It's going to cook the wine. The alcohol's going to get cooked out of the sauce. And he said, well, they have another sauce called vodka sauce. And one person, see, this is the way that you could tell if someone is real Italian. Because one person said, oh, I'm Sicilian. Okay, then why didn't you correct us when we're talking about spaghetti sauce? When you say, well, in my culture, my grandma, my mother, we don't call spaghetti sauce. We call it gravy. They call it gravy. So tell me I'm wrong. And see, a lot of people don't realize. I think it was the Moors that conquered Italy. A lot of Italians got black blood. They don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want to admit to that. They don't want to admit to that. They have black blood. And, I'm just saying. Know your history. That's it. Yeah, it's just it. We're so used to, and see a lot of you ever notice that all the American versions of Chinese food, everything is sweet. But if you went to China and you said, say we both got on an airplane, not an airplane, but a jet, and flew to China, said I want some real authentic food, and you sit there and go, hey, excuse me, where's the General Tso's? Okay, there's no such thing as General Tso's chicken in China. There's no such thing as orange chicken in China. If you ever get a chance, take a look at the when you order Chinese food again. If you order two different meats, it's the same beef, same pork, same chicken, and the sauce that's different is it could either be a different color or one that is just got sesame seeds in it. You see what I'm saying? One that has sesame seeds in it, and then the other one doesn't. Just give it just as look. It's the same daggone thing. They just changed the name. That's literally it. That's literally it. But we think we getting some real authentic Chinese food. That ain't authentic Chinese food. They looking at you like, what the heck is that mess? We just said, like, what? Exactly. It is. It's. You say, yeah, it is. And we all talk about. I don't want to get too far into what I'm about to say. We all talk about, just it's racism, like black and white. But boy, y'all remember when COVID hit? They were rounding up Africans that moved to China with telling them go home, blaming them for the COVID. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But it's weird situation. But we'll throw sugar, we'll put sugar in everything, and then when the doctor comes and say, Mr. So and so, you've got diabetes, and then we're devastated because we put sugar in every daggone thing. We're devastated because we, uh, I remember I used to watch my father before he'd even eat his food. He'd grab the salt, just he would just douse it. I'm thinking like, I said, no, right? I said, no, because I said, did you even taste it first? That no. We so used to the way that we were brought up. We're so used to the way that we engage. I remember I think it's called the Sweet Auburn Festival. Wife tried to she was dead set on pulling me, dragging me out of this mess. And we walked from food truck like you. I love food truck. Um, and I ordered some seafood at a one. You could tell that this food was not. It didn't come straight out the fryer. It was sitting under a heat lamp, and all they threw on it was seasoning sauce. And my half burnt taste buds had sensed that. We would try it differently. Same thing. All you could taste was the seasoning sauce. So, is that all we? Is that all we know how to do? And put seasoning sauce on something? Then you wonder why you're not making no money. You wonder why nobody is hunting you down. You wonder why that you know no one wants to eat your food. I don't see it. But see, we like, oh man, it broke my heart. I didn't prepare it correctly. I needed to get one of those coolers. When I flew into New York, and see, I was brought up on this a certain type of sage sausage. It comes in sausage links. You can only get this in the New York area. Um, I think I wrote down I gotta see if I can find the web address and see if I can get them to send me some overnight. But this stuff is freaking delicious, but it looks weird as heck. It's a big link sausage, but it looks kind of grayish. And you fry it up in a pan and you have it for breakfast. But normally, a normal person that look at it like, what the heck? Like, what the heck is that? And I brought some home, and it kind of went bad. And I was holding on to it in the freezer, and the freezer got unplugged again. It's like our refrigerator upstairs. She had to throw it out. I was heartbroken. But I was brought up with, I was brought up with stuff like that. And a lot of times um, you're going to prefer what you have been brought up with. You was indoctrinated. You was given. It's like you guys. I don't know where you're from. They have hot dog carts. You remember those? I don't know if you're at the baseball game. Um, but New York, they have what's called hot dog carts. There's a company called Sabarit where it's like hot dogs with it's not the skinless ones, but the other ones, which is, I think, I don't know, it's a certain type of intestines or something that they put on the outside that gives it a snap. Oh my God, they're delicious, but they're full of salt. See, I look at the ingredients now, but they have what's called cooked red onions. It's in a red sauce. It's a Barrett cooked onions. You can only find it in certain stores. That, oh my God, oh my God, I love it. 'Cause guess what? I was brought up with that. And I found, every once in a while I won't get the expensive one, I'll get the cheap one, and I'll put some Barrett onions on top of that. Oh my God, you can't tell me nothing. And just a little bit of mustard. The wife hates mustard, but I love mustard on certain things. You know what I mean? Just, Yeah. Yep, yep. You're right. You're right. You're talking. Well, you're right when you're talking about the history of certain things, the history of foods. It's just it's like you know that the Crisco that's in those round cans or whatever, and you know that was originally um, that was originally supposed to be used to lubricate airplane parts. So they paid to bribe the food administration, all these other people to tell them that butter, lard, um, you know, oils like olive oil, all these oils were bad for us when they actually was a whole lot better than that crap. You see what I'm saying? So it was a whole lot better than that mess. But a lot of us prefer to fry with that. We think we're we're doing something by frying in peanut oil. We're really not. And I remember when I started, this keto, you're supposed to ingest the good oils. And I remember I was so mad that I finally looked at it. I had this big thing of avocado oil. I'd take a big gulp every morning of this avocado oil. And then some said, look at the back of it. It was only like 10% avocado oil, and the rest was vegetable oil something. I was so freaking mad. I said, I've been sucking down vegetable oil. I almost got sick. But that's the thing. Like, some really, I'm talking, you going to the real McCoy Italian restaurant, not the one that caters to the American bullcrap, but they'll bring out a saucer of olive oil, and someone will come and they'll sprinkle a little bit of salt in there, and they'll put some crushed red peppers in that. So you got olive oil, extra virgin olive oil with salt, pepper, and crushed black pepper, and they'll give you bread that you dip it in the olive oil to eat. And we be wondering why a lot of people that do stuff, the Italians, they they live longer, they last longer, they the lifespan is longer. And see, it's something that they're putting in the food because a lot of people that move over to Europe for business or work or whatever, they'll be eating the same thing. They said, "Look, I'm eating all this bread, I'm eating all this pasta over in Europe, in Italy, and I lost 20 pounds. I haven't changed the way I ate. To be over in America, and you're bloated, your face puffed out, and everything else. It's because of all the freaking chemicals. Half the stuff that's sold in the United States is banned in other countries. But see, our government is so worried about shutting down TikTok, closing down TikTok. And see, that shows you that they don't lost their damn mind. That's the only law that the freaking Republicans could pass is freaking shutting down TikTok. Boy, you can't be that stupid. You just can't. But what do I know? Because what do I know? Oh boy, but I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start working on my second channel, which is Can't Stop Living. Um, because just in case, because boy, I'm looking that. Just watch out. Don't give y'all a heads up. Don't be snatching other people's content and try to rebroadcast it or whatever, because YouTube will lock you out of your channel. I was reading that yesterday. YouTube will lock you out of their channel. Yeah, but the digital age has got us, up there, and you know what I'm saying. It's got us up there. It's got us up there. But yeah. Well, thank God the sun's coming up. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I spent the night in a uh, rest area, so I really couldn't get up and go get some coffee or whatever. But I'll get some. I'll get some in a minute. But the thing with someone said this: a cook replicates, a chef creates. Don't let that go over your head. A cook replicates, a chef creates. And the reason why I never kept on going with the chef part of my life is because some of the stuff that people would have been asking me to create was nasty in my eye. See, I'm like, I don't know. I don't like that. See, you have to have an open mind to be a chef. You have to have an open understanding. You got to have some good taste buds, to understand the flavor of that. You know, what if somebody told you, hey, I want you to make me some mouth noises? That's cow nuts. Nah, play. I'm good. But see, we some of us was brought up eating chitlins. I was good with chitlins till I found out what it was. I was like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Hog maws and yeah, you ever come in the house and you open up the big pot that mom was cooking, and there's a freaking hog's head in the pot. I remember one time I came home, opened up the refrigerator, and all I seen was a pig's ass. There's a big giant pig booty staring me in the face, and I screamed. Because when I was a teenager, my father always had to show up. There was any big parties, and he he uh, he had my uncle roast a pig, and they the whole pig. They had the whole freaking pig, you know, this big old pig booty, but because the pig was in there upside down. Hey, on the welcome it, and I mean I was screaming, but yeah, I said I was screaming. That was freaking hilarious. But and it's the same thing with certain types of barbecue. I understand now. I didn't understand before, but a real smoker, a real barbecue enthusiast, it's about the meat. It's not about the sauce. In Kansas City, yes, it's about the sauce. It's about the barbecue sauce. But everywhere else, it's about how you smoke those ribs, how you smoke that piece of beef, how what is it seasoned with? Can I see the ring? Can I see the smoke ring? Can I see is it tender or is it dry? How you burnt the ends. The sausage. The sausages that you created. Is it zesty? Is it hot? Is it sour? Is it sweet? You know what I mean? It's what part of the world you were brought in. They have certain parts have like a white. It's like a white barbecue. It's like a white sauce. Certain places it has a mustard base. Certain has a ketchup base. Certain places have a vinegary base. It's wherever and whenever that you were brought up on, you were brought into. But when you can find when you can find see a lot of us we save because of the knowledge that we have. Oh, you got to put this in it. Okay. One person said yesterday that you can boil the salt out of stuff, which is totally wrong. If you put too much salt in the soup, either you're gonna have to dilute the hell out of it, or you're gonna have to, get your raw potato, peel the skin off it, and put it in there, and the potato will soak up all that, will soak that salt up out of there. But you cannot boil it out. All you're gonna do is make it worse, because when you boil out more liquid, that salt will condense and be more and more intolerable to your taste buds. And I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Trust and believe. That that's from a little bit. Yeah, it will be condensed big time. I mean, big time. That's why I tell my wife, babe, back off the salt, because you're not hurting my feelings if I'm at the table and I'm eating and I reach for the salt. Oh, okay, just need a little bit more salt. Because if you put too much in there, you can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. And once it gets in your blood, just so you guys know, because the doctor sat there and explained it to me. Once it gets into your blood, the salt in your blood reaches for all of the, 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 the liquid, the water in your blood, and it sucks it up like a sponge. And what did that do? It's sucking up the salt in your blood, and it makes the pressure in your blood vessels even stronger because it's holding on to the water, and that's where you get the high blood pressure from. It's expanding against the wall. That's why when a doctor will give you water pills to get the water out of your blood, and that's why they say, look, try, don't have as much salt as you can, because that salt will attract that blood and make it even worse. That's why that's why they want you to do less salt. It's simple as that. All right, guys. I done got y'all for almost a good hour. I thank you for coming in this morning. I was just trying to make up for yesterday, because I gotta start working on my hours again. I'm literally down 100 freaking hours. Literally, I'm down on. I should have been up 100. I'm literally down 100 hours. But again, I want to do this the right way. I want to do it the way that I believe is right in my eyesight. Is to work for it, to push for it, because if even if I do make it to the promised land when I do. I'm like, how come I can't even get the 100 hours? Because I didn't work for it. If you get a chance, please watch the video, like, subscribe, and so forth. But I'm trying to make sure that I do it the right way. And just just like I said, what is your preference with leave it in the comments with grits. Do you like sugar or do you like butter, salt, pepper, so forth? What about your spaghetti? Is it the same thing? Do you like your sauce has sugar in it? My wife likes sugar in it. I can't stand it, but I put up with it. I tell her, well, why don't you put some aspartame? That's to get you sweet, but it won't jump on my blood pressure. My sugar level. And I'm just saying, there's ways to do that. You know what I'm saying? There's ways around it. We went to this very exclusive Italian restaurant. She was miserable because she couldn't. She brought it. I said, throw it on there. I'm not doing that. They'll be looking at me. But you're eating it. Why do you care? But she never did. She was miserable. See, when you start worrying about what other people think, sorry. Thanks, Wanda. I appreciate it. But y'all have a blessed day. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys Monday. Deuces. And as always, if you think nobody don't care, know that I love you. God loves you too. Have a good weekend. Later.